Hello, and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Raziel. I got my man Adam here with me, and we are breaking down this 7-game NBA DFS slate. Gonna have a couple bets for you. Gonna have a couple plays. We're gonna have a lot of fun while we're doing it. Please, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. We would appreciate the heck out of you for that. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We're almost up to 700. I think something happens when we get to 1,000. I just kind of like, that's what YouTubers say, right? Like, hey, we're going to get to 1,000. We'll just like give away a PS5. So Jason, buy a PS5. We need to give one of those away when we hit 1,000. I think that'll be fun. And windailysports.com/chat. 7 free days in the expert Discord chat. Adam, how you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. Still waiting on some pretty important news for the NBA slate.
Yep.
The good thing is it's the first game. So even though we don't have it an hour and 15 minutes, we will get it before the slate starts, which doesn't always happen in the NBA. So at least it's the first game.
We will take it however it comes. It is NBA DFS. We wouldn't expect anything else. I think there was like 3 games last week that a game was postponed.
Yep.
Kevin Durant, that whole Kevin Durant bullshit, and then somebody else was like knocked out. So it was very
last night. Else. Drew Holiday was ruled out like way after lock because they were like 9:30 or something.
Yeah, yep, I remember that. That was I had the over in that game. Felt real good after the first quarter, and then all of a sudden they forgot how to score, so I started to sweat that one out a little bit. But it worked. It worked. All right, let's bring this bad boy up. Let's see what we got. This first game, as you said, this is what the news we're waiting for. We have Kevin Durant is already out. Kyrie Irving came in questionable, but he is in to play. DeLon Wright and Wayne Ellington are both questionable, so I think that's where we're going to need to know a little bit about the Detroit side. I guess let's start with the Nets, though. Are you locking in both? Are you locking in one? Cash GPP? What are you talking about here?
I mean, as far as cash goes, for me, I want Harden. Now, can I afford that with some of the other names that I kind of, think we need and are coming in chalky? Well, we don't know yet because I don't know what Pistons value I have. So I want Harden.
Oh, wait. They're both in.
That's not helpful. I mean, it's helpful.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys. But
it's helpful to let me know, but I was really kind of hoping that they would sit.
Well,
so
there you go.
Honestly, right now, like we always flock towards one of these two if, one of the big three's out. But they're not popping in ownership right now at all. So as much as I want to play Harden, I might leave it to the picks and pivot special and just stack this game up.
Just stack the shit out of it.
At least on the Brooklyn side. And on the Detroit side, Jeremy Grant is probably one of my favorite cash plays of the night, especially on DK, because he's massively underpriced. Like, yeah. I'm not always a big fan of paying like the 8,500 for him, but now we take KD off the court, who's arguably the Nets' best, individual defender. So he's got an easier path on that side, and he should be at least 8K here. So it's kind of like Bradley Beal last night. He's just way too underpriced for the matchup, for the pace of this game, for the lack of defense from the Nets. With Derrick Rose now, on his way to New York, his Grant's usage kicks up to a little bit over 26%. He's one of the guys that I'm just probably going to lock into cash right now.
Shout out Jeremy Grant, bet on himself and made a lot of money doing it.
Sure did.
So good for him. Yeah, both those guys, DeLon Wright, it looks like the chat is telling us DeLon Wright and Wayne Ellington are in. Obviously, again, Kevin Durant is out. This game sits at a total of 229.5. I took the over, but then got some information that most of the bets are on the over. Naturally, that's just kind of how it goes. But most of the money is actually coming in on the under, which is keeping that number steady. I assume it still hits like 250. Only because it's a Nets game.
It's Nets.
Yeah, it's a Nets game. They don't play defense. And I think the Nets hit the over at like a 70-something% clip Ghost was talking about. And the Pistons are also up there in terms of hitting the over at a pretty high clip too. So pretty excited. I consider it a lock. So of course, take that for what it is.
And real quick, we can't move off this game before I give a shout out to Mason Plumlee, our boy Plum Dog.
Plum Dog.
He's probably in my double center tonight, and we'll get the other one in the late hammer. But 5,800. I mean, we know we attack this Nets front court. I mean, religiously, they can't do anything in the paint. They can't defend it. Plumlee's averaging almost 8 paint touches a game. Double tonight.
Double, calling it. Plum Dog Millionaire. I heard he was, I saw he was projected for 69 points earlier. That's a lot of points.
It was very nice.
That's a very, very nice amount of points. So shout out to the model for doing its thing. All right. So we do have that 7 o'clock game. Obviously, again, it's a Brooklyn game. So you're going to want to get some of those dudes in there.
Absolutely.
So make sure you have someone on your 7 o'clock figured out, and then we can move on, because then we have a 7:30 lock for the rest of the games moving forward and after, obviously. So the next game we have the Knicks and the Heat. This total has come down to 208. I think last night when we did the preview podcast, make sure you're grabbing that. Mitchell, Stobie, and I are going to be doing a bunch of those moving forward now that there's no football. I want to say the total was at like 212, 215, like a respectable number, but Knicks play slow. Heat love to actually play defense. Knicks play solid defense as well. This number's down to 208. This sucks. I mean, is there any reason to play this game at all?
So there's only really a couple things that I'm looking at here, and it's mostly going to be on FanDuel. I know we don't have that up, but power forward on FanDuel is beyond disgusting right now. It's going to get worse if Draymond Green gets ruled out.
Nice.
So there's a strong argument that you can play Julius Randle and Bam Adebayo on FanDuel and just take those 40 to 50 guaranteed points from those two and move on with the rest of your build, because the rest of power forward is hideous. I mean, unless you're going to play like a Blake Griffin, you could argue that on FanDuel he's only 53. Like, okay, fine if you love the rest of your lineup, or you're down to like Daniel Theis in Utah. Nice. It's just not. It's not pretty. And then past that, I know Ghost is hammering Jimmy Butler's PRA at 31.5.
Yeah, I think he made that go up to almost 40 at this point, just by himself. So, yeah, that was the first message I got from Ghost this morning. Jimmy Butler, PRA 31.5, take the over. Of course, I'm going to take the over.
So, yep, already done.
Done, and done. Lock it in. I know one of the picks from our house capper tonight, he's actually on the Knicks plus 6.5 over on DraftKings. So you can go grab that there. Hey, 6.5 is a lot of points. Knicks play defense, Heat play defense. Yeah. Definitely a possibility. I'm not a huge fan of the pick, but I tell the people that are much, much smarter than I, and it normally works out. Yo, podcast was dope. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Tell your friends. Tell them all. We're going to be doing, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, so get ready for it. Moving on to the next game, Houston and Nolans. Houston is, New Orleans is 6.5 point favorites. Total is 226. We knew last night John Wall was out yesterday and Victor Oladipo would be out today. Christian Wood is still out. Boogie didn't quite come up for us as we were hoping last night. That was another message I got early yesterday, was hammer the PRA on Boogie after everyone was ruled out. Looks like a bunch of people are still in, though. I think Eric Gordon was out last night amongst others. Who are we looking at here, and how much John Wall do we need?
So this is kind of an interesting spot for Cousins, because you could argue he's in the same, pretty damn good spot he was yesterday. The price only goes up 300. Everyone's attention is going to be elsewhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could really go right back to the well here, and I would not say you're wrong. I mean, he didn't even hit 25 minutes, and he's still, flirted with a double-double, which is the nice bonus on DK. Like, Steven Adams isn't going to really stop him. Mm-hmm. Zion Williamson hasn't played defense at all this year. Like, it got to the point that Stan Van Gundy pulled him off the floor in late game situations a couple games ago. Ugh. So, yeah, not great. So I definitely don't have any issues going back to Cousins at a much lower ownership. I mean, he was pushing 45% in GP on DK yesterday. He's not going to be near that tonight. I still think we can go, right back to Sterling Brown. He was about 35% yesterday in cash, and he went down to 32. Now, Eric Gordon being back does kind of hurt that a little bit, but on a slate where we're still starved for value, I think Brown's still going to have, the 20, 24 minutes, 28. And as last I looked, he was still a model darling. So we all know what we do with the model here.
Yes. Trust it.
Trust it and play it.
Trust it and play it. I love that. Going over the chat for a second. Boogie revenge narrative, yes, on the New Orleans Pelicans for like that half a season, right? And that was so cool. Him and Anthony Davis, what they were able to do.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a blast. And then I think he tore his ACL or his Achilles, and it's pretty much just never been the same since, unfortunately. How about this? Wall, Boogie, Lonzo, Ingram, stack it up.
I could get down with that. Certainly it's only a GPP, but I know Ingram was in ghost right up today. Wall without Oladipo is hovering around a 35% usage rate. He'll probably be somewhat popular, but again, with lack of value, he might not be as popular as we think.
Love to see it. Anybody else? Send us in your questions. We have people making fun of you too. Pivot off Adam's picks, not because they're not perfect, but because they'll most likely get ruled out to randomness at lock. Hey, it happens.
It does happen. That's for sure.
Not much you can do about it. Let's go. So we had the great matchup last night. Houston in the same spot as you said. We have the literal same game again. We have the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs. Saw this game last night. The over did not hit, unfortunately, but Steph made threes did. So it worked out. So we went 1-1. I actually had Golden State in this game too. So not the best night betting for me on this game, but whatever. We had some fun. Steph Curry did his thing as normal. We have Derek White, LaMarcus Aldridge, and James Wiseman still out. Kevon Looney and Marquise Christ as well. Same analysis, or do you look at it differently because the back-to-back? What do you think about this one?
So it is very, very much similar. There's a couple things here, though. The first is Derek White's out, which he was not last night. So that does help DeJounte Murray. And he's coming in one of the top 3 projected ownership plays. He's coming off 62 DK.
Whoa.
Obviously, the pricing comes out before that game even tipped. I'm not saying don't play him. He's still only 65. It's still a great spot. And we talk about it, a lot. Even with Aldridge out, a lot of their guys are older on a back-to-back. I'm totally fine with it. But don't expect 62 DK with 8 steals, 10 rebounds like he did last night.
Yeah.
And you don't need it at 6,500. But I'm a little bit surprised to see him chalkier than John Wall. I know there's a price difference, but even still. On the other side of this game, Draymond Green popped up questionable a little bit before we got on. It's not even reflected on DK yet. And I kind of thought last night, I'm like, man, he might sit. Like, he's been playing so many minutes for them on a back-to-back. And I'm like, he can't sit. They don't have anybody else. Like, they don't have any size. Man, if he sits, like, Jakob Poeltl has just the clearest path to the basket. And he played really well last night. He went 14 and 11. Flirted with almost 40 DK. That was with Draymond Green in. Like, as much as I like Plumlee, I'd want a little bit exposure to Poeltl here, especially if Draymond's out. And
would Poeltl be your second center in that 2-center lineup you were talking about?
He could be. He's not going to be in cash.
Okay.
But in GPP, if you want to fade the heaviest chalk of the day, which is in the late night hammer, I could actually get on board with that and go different at guard.
The late night hammer. Le matin soir ghost. I didn't say it right, but I think I say it right. So it sounds good when I say it.
It's closer than I could have
got. Well, let Ghost teach you. He's good at that stuff. We'll get to Lillard in a little bit, but would you prefer building around him or Kyrie?
I'll go Kyrie, but it is tough. And that's a perfect example. I refer to the model. In my head, I'd say Kyrie, but it's a very tough call.
And so let's teach people how to use the model. So in this case, both dudes pretty priced up. Lillard in the 10K range, Kyrie in that low 9K range. Do you look when you tab that, because you can tab on the model, you can go by projections, you can go by value. Do you just look at raw points, or do you see or do you compare to the value? Because again, I think the Lillard's a little bit more expensive than Kyrie is.
He is a little bit more expensive. So what I do is I just click on the straight projection. So without giving away everything, Lillard is projected for 6 more points, DK wise. So the 6 more points, is it worth the 7K? If you absolutely love your lineup and you can afford Damian Lillard, by all means, play that 6 points at that point. But if you're kind of stuck and you're having to move around some pieces, I just go with Kyrie and leave the rest of my lineup alone.
I love it. There you go. And this is what we're here to do. We're here to teach people. I wish Kerr would let Curry play. Yeah, something happened last night, right? It was kind of weird. I don't remember exactly. It felt like I was waiting on that last 3 from Steph Curry, and it felt like he didn't play like 8 minutes of the fourth quarter for some reason. I don't know. Was that me, or am I
How many minutes did he end up with? I didn't really look.
It was just
put up 30 real points, so I didn't really catch anything different.
Let's see. He had 36 minutes, so he definitely was up there.
He played. He plays the whole first and third quarter typically. So I think it's the first, third, and then he gets the back half of the second and fourth generally.
Okay. Makes sense. You know.
I'm pretty sure that's at least, on a most of the night's basis that the game is closed. Yeah. I mean, realistically, if Draymond wasn't chucking mid-court threes with 8 seconds left in the damn game, you might have got OT in that game.
Oh my God, that would have been sweet. Because we needed that. Oh well, it happens.
What the hell, Dre? You are not the dude.
Yeah, because there was like 5 seconds left on the clock. Dude? It was 8 seconds. Because I remember it being like definitely not nearly close enough to try and take that shot.
No, like he
not even close. Like 2 seconds,
he just turned and threw it. I'm like,
2 seconds. 2 seconds is one thing. But like 5 seconds, that's like 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, depending on who you are. Yeah, like you could do something with that.
All I could see was the LeBron meme just going like this.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I love it. Wall, Seth Curry, Sterling Brown, B.I., Boogie, Lonzo, Grant, Jake Puddle, TK, GPP.
I dig it.
Dig it. DraftKings single entry GPP. You're talking to the right man here. DeJounte Murray, Joe Harris, Sterling Brown, Mr. Randall, Julius, Plum Dog Millionaire, John Wall, Jimmy Butler, Mr. Stewart, and I'm not sure about Stewart. Okay, so how do you feel about Stewart, I guess?
So a guy like Stewart is, again, where I'll let the model talk to me. I haven't seen his name really all day, and now that the Pistons are basically at full strength, I'd probably pass on that. Joe Harris is kind of the one, like, this is set up pretty well for Joe Harris, because if Joe Harris gets there at 6K on DraftKings, either Harden or Kyrie almost has to flop. Like, all three of those guys are not going to hit their ceiling. So if you're going to play Joe Harris, this is probably the lineup to do it in, because you don't have the other guys that you would probably miss on.
I love it. I love that explanation. Appreciate that, dude. Brian, DeJounte Murray, Forcan. Who's Forcan? Grant.
That's the dude from Philly. Korkmaz.
Oh, I love Brian and but sometimes like I don't know who he's saying. Like sometimes it's too much. Like, but appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, man. We'll have some fun with it. Grant Pascal, only if Green is out. That's a good point. Embiid, Fox, Sterling Brown, and Plum Dog Millionaire.
I mean, the forehand pick I probably can't really get behind, at least as it stands. The other one, Eric Pascal only played 12 minutes last night. He's coming back off a knee injury. Like, I know if Green's out there, they're really shorthanded, but I still don't know how much they're going to push Pascal.
Makes sense.
And I have to correct myself. Isaiah Stewart is actually 4, 6. He's actually 7th in the model as far as value goes right now.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, then that's where we got that from. Lillard, 53 points at 5.3x. Thanks, Derek. Somebody's trying to get us to cash app them a bunch of stuff, so I'm just gonna block you. Get out of here.
Believe me, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you money. Kyrie. Oh, cool. He just went over all of it. In the interview, Kerr said he wasn't letting him go past 34 to 36 minutes anymore. Yeah, that's because he's
sad. So
yeah, his body's gonna break down.
Right.
He's like as tall as me, except like not actually as tall as me, but like as tall as me compared to the other guys. That makes sense.
Yeah, and they can't afford to lose him for any amount of time.
Cool. I love it. I don't even know Forcan's last name. Cool, man. Me neither. I'll be honest. I have no idea. I try not to watch Philly sports as much as I can. Let us move on.
Strong policy for the record.
Cool. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the Orlando and Portland game. We took Vooch over rebounds, 10.5, because it's just Enes Kanter he's going up against. But we have CJ McCollum out, Aaron Gordon out, Eric Fournier out, Nurkic out. All these guys that were out yesterday, they're still out today.
Yep.
So we talked about Damian Lillard a little bit. How are you liking him in this spot, knowing that dude has to do everything still?
I'll probably be heavier on him on FanDuel than I will DK. At 10K, I'm still probably either likelier to take the savings of Kyrie, or I'll just find the 900 for Harden. Obviously, finding the 900 got a little bit more difficult because right now we don't have anything.
Yeah.
But if you're in that range, I feel like you could make some type of tweak that makes it worth Harden's ceiling. The guy that I want that you're going to have on DK and cash is Vooch. He's still under 9K, which is automatically he's going to be chalky. Now you get the Enes Kanter matchup. You get Fournier and Gordon are both out. So when those two are off the floor this year, and you take Markelle Fultz off, because now you got to figure they're down 3 starters from the beginning of this season. When you take those guys off the floor, Vooch has a 35% usage rate and almost a 1.5 DK point per minute.
Jesus Christ.
That's like 0.1 off of what Jokic put up. So if I'm not saying Vooch is going to triple double and get those bonuses, but he's not 11,000. He's under 9. So if you're willing to pay the Jokic price almost every single night, you should be more than willing to eat the Vucevic stock here.
I mean, this dude, why is he so disrespected? Like, I don't
know
get
why
he's been nothing but amazing this year.
I think part of it was, because they just go off the results a lot of times. So last time he only plays 24 minutes in a complete and total blowout. So he only puts up 33 DK, so his price doesn't move. Meanwhile, the game before that,
77.
Right. And
that's insane.
He's going to take 20, 25 shots tonight because there's nobody else in that offense right now. It's Terrence Ross. It's Cole Anthony, who's not really, a shooter. Like, he's going to do everything. And when you're doing everything against Enes Kanter and Harry Giles, you're probably going to be in for a pretty good night.
That's a good night. I mean, in 24 minutes, he took 17 shots last game.
Right. Give him a full 35.
That's just, and the dude is shooting 42%, over 42% from 3.
Yep.
Like, that's better than, I think Ghost and I, we were talking about it last week. I think that's better than like a lot of guards, like Kobe White. He's crushing Kobe White. And it's like,
and like, guys, it's not like he's taken like 33s this season. He's taken almost 150. He's
exactly
them up there.
Like, it's pretty legit. Anything else from this game that you like? Is there any, I mean, with only Vooch, is there any value on the Portland side, considering again the Orlando side, considering the Portland side is pretty diminished as well?
The problem with the rest of the members on both these teams is they're starting to get priced up. There's not really a ton of value left to be had with Cole Anthony at 6K, because now you're talking even 6X is 36 DK. Mm-hmm. Can you get there? Sure. Is it likely?
Probably not.
Not so much. And GPP, you want 7, 8X. I have a hard time seeing those guys get there. So it's not really a spot that I'm looking for overwhelmingly.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Want to make fun of Brian a little bit? Team Birch over Vooch.
I'm not going to sign off on that.
Love it. Darby, do you like any of the low price power forwards on Orlando? Darby?
My Discord avatar used to be Darby All In from AEW.
Oh, okay. Sorry. On FanDuel. The comment after is
the gentleman's name. It's he has kind of an odd last name. I got to look it up. But there is somebody that's 4K on FanDuel that I was like, you know what? Maybe as a punt in GPP. Give me 2 seconds. It's a Koke. I'm not sure if I'm
okay.
that right. I apologize if I'm not. But you look, he's come back from injury. He's had 17, 17, and 22 minutes. At 4K on FanDuel, on GP, if you want to, because power forward's so bad, if you want to punt that spot, I'd get on board with that. Okiki, sure.
Yeah, that's what it looks like at least. Blazers fan, Dame Jones, if I'm fading Trent Jr., Jones, Melo.
Just still seems like a lot of Portland. I mean,
where's Drea? Drea should be here answering all the Portland questions.
I know she loves Dame tonight.
Yeah.
I mean,
she knows the team, man. Yeah.
She's good. Like, I'm not saying, Dame's a bad play by any stretch. If you have that salary, get there, but it's tougher tonight.
Little tough. Kyrie, Harden, Sterling Brown, Grant, Plumdog, Bacon, Ennis, Jake Puddle, DraftKings, single entry, GPP.
I'd probably prefer not to play Bacon and Ennis together, but I really do like the rest of it. I could probably get on board there.
Love it. Jay is here. Sorry, Jay, you haven't asked any questions. No large field GPP questions yet. I'm just curious. A couple games left. The Portland game starts at 10 Eastern, because as East Coasters, that's the only thing we care about is the correct time.
Right.
The next game we have Philly and Sacramento. Philly favored by 5 on the road in a game that Mitchell and I were talking about last night. This should be fast and it should be fun. And I assume the Sixers are going to kick the shit out of them, but what the hell do I know? Talk to me.
Yeah, the Sixers got smoked by the Portland B team.
Yeah, the C team.
I don't know about
exactly. That's why I'm not going to put any more money on them, but not for a little while. But this should be a fun game, right?
So the one thing I do want to mention, Vooch is overwhelming chalk on this slate. I'm not necessarily going down this path, but I know Brian and Ghost have both talked about it. You could play, instead of like the Dame Vooch combo, you could play the Embiid De'Aaron Fox combo for right about the same exact salary and get it at a fraction of the ownership.
Yep.
It makes total sense in GPP. My retort was, we've kind of seen Vooch's ceiling with guys out of that offense. The Sixers, as we stand right now, are healthy. As great as Embiid has been, and I think he's in the running for the actual NBA MVP, it hasn't always translated to DK ceiling games, which is 10.5. You need him to blow Vooch out of the water almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you'll get him at lower ownership, but if they both score 55, even at the ownership, I'll just take Vooch because that means I have more money to get different elsewhere.
Yep.
You know, you look at Embiid, he's only been over 60 DK 3 times this year. This is a great spot for him to do it. Rashawn Holmes defense, Hassan Whiteside defense, he should absolutely smash in the paint. I'm just more on the Vooch side of this thing than the other two, but I had to point that out.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like the ownership, you'd need Joel Embiid and De'Aaron Fox to do their thing to take advantage.
Lately. I mean, Fox has been a monster lately.
He is. Oh, he's so fast.
He is, and
what if him and Luka were on the same team? I'm sorry.
That would be evil. Like, I don't fear Ben Simmons' defense against De'Aaron Fox. I really don't.
Something to think about, people. Anything else from this game? Any value or anything? I mean, if everyone's
healthy,
everyone's
healthy. Like Tyrese Halliburton's, kind of getting up there. As Seth Curry, I mean, 42. Maybe I can fall into some of that just because I need something. His minutes are starting to kind of kick back up to where they were, and then Tobias Harris is actually still fairly priced on DK. He's getting a little bit up there on FanDuel, but he's still under 8.
Is
like
Tobias,
you just saw, 51. He still has ceiling even when Embiid is in.
Is Tobias Harris like good?
Yes. I mean, he's overpaid, but he's good.
Oh my God, yeah, he's severely overpaid. Shout out to the Sixers for paying Tobias Harris and not Jimmy Butler. That's
I don't think Jimmy wanted to stay at that point.
Yeah,
Brown over him.
I think he hated
which was most
of that team. Hey, yeah, it absolutely was. Last game of the night, Celtics and the Jazz. Jazz favored by 6, and honestly, at this point, it's hard to bet against the Jazz because all they do is cover. I think one in the last 15 or 16 games they haven't covered. I've been on them too many. I've been off of them too many times to make it worth it. Let's get through this game, and then we'll go back to the chat, answer some questions. We had one. Do you think Jaylen Brown plays tonight? That's a literal $1 million question. Is it not?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I knew if he would or not. When a guy's always has been perpetually questionable for about a week and hasn't played, I just lean towards he won't play yet. I could very easily be wrong. He could be in tonight. But if he's not, I mean, it's not the best spot for him, but Tatum's still kind of underpriced. I mean, he is the Batman in that offense when Jaylen Brown's not there. And at 9,200, nobody's really going to play him. You're looking at, 35, 42 minutes, 27 shots, 22 shots. Like, if that shot's working, he could absolutely smash that price tag. It's not something that I'm super on, but if Brown's out, he is the Boston offense because Kemba Walker's still not really found his stride since coming back from injury yet.
No.
Like, he has moments where he looks like Kemba, and then he has other moments where, like, oh boy, he looks rough.
Yeah,
his shot's not there yet.
It's not great. And just looking at it again, put things into perspective. Jason Tatum, as you said, the Batman of this offense, dude is incredible. Vooch has more 3 attempts and a better 3-point percentage.
Yep.
Like, again, just put that in perspective. I don't know why the guy is so severely disrespected, and he's grabbing in some games 19, 18, 15 boards. That's why Ghost and I, what's up, Ghost? See you down there. Take the 10.5 over against Enes Kanter. Like, I don't feel bad. Vooch is getting paid, so
I took his ERA because it was under 40. It was 39.5.
I like that too.
And then
place another bet
on the Jazz side. Normally these guys would be getting a lot of attention, but they kind of both stunk last game. Mike Conley's out, so Joe Ingles is going to start. He's basically the ball distributor in that offense. And then Jordan Clarkson's still coming off the bench and still just gunning the ball because that's what he does best. They're fairly priced on DK, but on FanDuel, I think they're both still pretty underpriced. Like, Clarkson's only $5K, and Joe Ingles is only $4,500. at a small forward position, which isn't great past the top end. Both forward spots on FanDuel, aren't the most attractive tonight. I wouldn't totally forget about these guys. I think on a lot of other slates, they'd be a little bit chalkier than they are tonight.
Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench and shooting the ball like 19 times. That's incredible. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Like, they both hit like 25 DK last game and disappointing, but they both shot like crap.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen.
But they shot the ball.
Right. They still shot and they still got a ton of minutes.
Oh, a little bit of news. Derrick Rose will be available tonight. Ghost kind of wish Ghost was here just so we could just repeat Tibbs gonna Tibbs. So Ghost, if you don't mind putting that down in the chat. I saw another one. This is interesting from Brian. What's up, buddy? Stay away from sous chef. That's Seth Curry. Let's go, Duke. I think they're playing, maybe winning right now. They suck this year. He said he hadn't recovered from the Rona since the last game. So that
but he still played 26, 27 minutes last game.
When was it? What was the date on that? Do you have that?
I think it was just Saturday, maybe.
Okay, so
Saturday,
today's
Sunday?
Tuesday, right? So, I mean, again, I haven't had the Rona, so I can't really comment too much on it. But, I don't know. Hopefully, he's getting better. At the 6th, so 3 days ago, whatever that is. All right, cool. Let's hang out in the chat for a little bit. Drea, do you think Jalen plays? No.
Yeah, I mean, your guess is no worse than mine at that point. I really don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Aminu is back also. So that will cut into the cheap power forward for Okiki, I think. And what's Okiki on DraftKings?
Aminu's been out for the entire year, though? I don't think he's going to come back and...
Don't remember saying his name recently.
Well, yeah, I don't either. I don't think he'll come back and play like a ton of minutes here. On DK, let me look. Because I really wasn't super interested on DK. It was more... he's power forward. He's 3,500.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of value.
Yeah.
Here we go. Why I'm Team Birch. All right. Kyrie, Shake, Jones Jr., Birch, Plumdog, Fox, Sterling Brown, Dame, and then Cole Anthony, Trent Jr. grabbed.
Don't really know.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing there, Brian. Please specify Birch, Embiid, Fox, Sterling Brown, Shake. So I guess if you go Birch, you can fit a couple more studs, it looks like.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we're talking about Kem Birch, between him and Vucevic. Of course, there's a giant price difference. So
yeah, but it looks like you're also throwing. Yeah, hey man, run it. Just that last whatever that name is, grabbed GRABT. I don't know what you're trying to say there. This is a good one. DraftKings single entry GPP. Lonzo Ball. Stop it and run it. Take it home. Take it home. No, Mark's got it. Lonzo Ball, Harden, Sterling Brown, Zion, Vooch, Mr. Walker, Tate, Seth Curry.
The next time I get Zion right this year is going to be the first time.
Nice.
Me and him have not gotten along this year. So I'm not super into that price tag. I think you could probably play Ingram in that spot. Who Ghost was on. I might go that route.
Yeah. Also, everyone playing Plumdog. Ghost brought it up in the chat earlier. The revenge game, the revenge narrative is hard.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have another one. Aminu is actually playing against his former team. So it's his first game back. So as Adam said, watch out. Can't see his price, or his price is minimum right now, but can't see his minutes being too high, especially if he's coming back from that long of a layoff. So
I mean, it's hard to get revenge when you're on the bench. It's not ideal.
It's difficult.
It's definitely
difficult. So Tibbs appreciates you there. Made
40 minutes tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I was going to say something mean, but I'm going to hold it. Made 6 lineups and not one has Boston, Utah, or New York, Miami games. Well, the New York, Miami game, I can see you fading. That's totally fine. How do you feel about the Boston, Utah fading that completely?
Yeah, I mean, if you have 6 lineups, I might get a little bit of exposure. Clarkson, Ingles, Tatum, something like that. Maybe even a Rudy Gobert, because who the hell in Boston's going to man up with him down in the paint?
Tristan Thompson?
Even Donovan Mitchell, because again, Conley's not there. He takes on a bigger role as well. So
yeah,
I get a little bit.
We saw Point Booker last night, and I didn't stay up for that game, but he looked to be doing well in the third quarter when I went to sleep. So
he went for almost 60 DK. That's all I need.
There you go.
I don't understand, baby. Why can't they? It frustrates me that his ceiling is just completely gone with Chris Paul there. I know they're playing well, but it's just annoying.
Yeah.
I want all the fantasy booker, not real life. I don't care.
Understandably.
I'm not a Suns fan.
He played minutes in. Oh, that was Seth Curry. Appreciate it. Do single entry cash double ups. I think Ghost is answering somebody. So, answering Berman. All right, cool.
Yes. Always single entry.
Yes. FanDuel Cash Center. Is it Vooch or do we go back to Cousins at the same price? Good question.
It's Vooch. Cousins is more the GPP play tonight in my eyes. If you're going to where Cousins is as far as cash, I'd probably rather play Plumlee, to be honest.
Plum Dog. This was going to be my joke. Over under on Derrick Rose's knees lasting. So I appreciate you, Brian.
I'll take the under on that if he's going to play Rose 40 minutes.
Yeah, I probably would take the under on it too, unfortunately. Grant. Oh, he was not Grapt. It was Grant. So yeah, I think we like it even more.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Any love for Oubre tonight? He was He was raining threes. He's been pretty good recently, right?
He's been awesome recently. If Green's out, maybe I'd get a little bit more excited about it. Kelly Oubre just seems like that dude you're going to chase, and he is just going to slap you right in the face one of these games with like a 15 DK point game. I
love it. Yeah, it's not surprising, but he was draining them last night.
He's been awesome the past couple games, but it's so scary to play that dude right now.
It is very difficult. Very annoying. How do you tone down your young star and let CP3 do more? Well, hey, they're winning games though, right? Like this is the first time that I can remember since the Steve Nash Suns that the Suns are like capable now. So it sucks, but also at the same time, like, hey,
I get it, but
yeah,
I don't have to like it.
Exactly. I hate you, but I respect you, Tom Brady. FanDuel GPP, Fox, Uncle Drew, Jackson, Sterling Brown, Grant, Keldon Johnson, Tice, Okiki, and Embiid.
I like everything.
But Tice.
Tice is okay in that build because you just don't have money left with Embiid and Fox and Kyrie. Jackson, why can't I think of who he's got at the shooting guard spot?
Say it again?
Jackson?
Frank Jackson?
I'm drawing a blank. Hold on 1 second. Let me look and see.
Just 1 second.
Trying to think of what Jack. Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson.
That's totally fine. I don't know why I couldn't think of it.
There's too many Jacksons, man. Like it's insane. Like I'll just say like Smith and Ghost would be like, yeah, I think he's a little overpriced. I'm just like, how the fuck Smith? How do you know which Smith? There's a million.
Sometimes it's like by position, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I could not fit because he's been small forward through a lot of the years. So.
Oh, Ghost even put Josh. See, Ghost knew. He knew.
Whatever,
Josh Jackson. No, I'm not. Believe me, that's not a you thing. That's a.
Oh no, I was saying whatever to Ghost.
Oh yeah, whatever, Ghost. Get out of here. Even though not an NBA related. All right, big takedown tonight. Hopefully, NBA, NHL, my favorite sport in DFS. Now, hey man, keep following Vecchio. That dude knows everything, even in NASCAR. There you go.
I'm playing NASCAR tonight. Let's do it.
Yeah, I threw in a NASCAR line. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I read the article. Said Vecchio, I took all these guys from your article, and he's like, sounds good. I was like, all right.
I got the lock emoji when I showed him my lineup. I'm ready to roll.
Bang, bang. All right, sweet. Well, that's about our show. We appreciate each and every one of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. WinDailySports.com/chat if you haven't already to join the chat for 24/7. So like as you see what we do here on YouTube, you can only imagine what it is like all day and all night through the sweat, through the builds, through the morning news with Brian. It's absolutely fantastic. Please make sure to like this on YouTube. That'd be pretty sweet. So thank you guys. I would appreciate that as well. And Adam, where can everyone find you on the internet?
I am at BUCN, the number 4 in the word life on Twitter. And I'm always kicking around in the Win Daily Discord, trying to help out everybody to win NBA.
Yes. And I think it was 94 notifications I saw from on your phone today. Was that what it was?
Oh, that was Sticks. He has 914.
Sticks. How I love him so much. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him. He's not going anywhere. It's just NFL's over. So he's like Mariah Carey going into the ocean after.
You know something I don't?
What are you doing, guy? We do have one last one. Jones Jr. or Bacon for Jayshawn Tate. So I could get Ingram in instead of Zion.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. Whichever one of Jones or Bacon is higher in the model. Because Jayshawn Tate's not a guy that I'm like, I have to have this dude in my lineup. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's kind of an ancillary piece.
It's just to get the Ingram over Zion. Exactly. I think that's the part. Le Matu Soir. How was that, Ghost? Awesome. All right, sweet. You can find me at Michael Brazil 1. You can find us at Win Daily Sports. We appreciate the heck out of you guys, everyone in the chat. Thank you for Adam, for myself, for everyone over here at HNB, as well as Win Daily. Hope you make it a very profitable Taco Tuesday in the NBA. Bye, everybody.